tonight. Local RCMP executed a major firearms and drug bust in Prince George last week. Plus, a local rally was held to support Ukraine and raise awareness about the war against Russia. And the UNBC Timberwolves men's basketball team are bronze medalists in Canada West. Good evening, I'm Eddie Hewand and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight, it's no secret local RCMP have been busy this year with several notable crimes already, including a dramatic armed robbery of a gas station. And now there's another one added to the list as authorities have seized a large number of drugs and firearms, making it another thing to add to the list in the new year after several other sizable incidences like I just mentioned. Caitlin Pomersnick has the story.
The Prince George RCMP have been busy so far in 2024 with a number of investigations, including 2 homicides, a pair of drive-by shootings, and a brazen armed robbery. Most recently, the RCMP's downtown safety unit seized a large number of drugs and weapons that they say is just one way Mounties are working to combat the recent increase in crime in Prince George.
Anytime we have a chance to get firearms off the streets is a good day for the RCMP, especially with the recent increase in violent crime related to firearms that we've seen just in this new year here. So this is, just one way in which we're trying to combat the recent increase in violent crime.
According to the RCMP, the suspected drugs seized were fentanyl, cocaine, and methamphetamine inside the residence of the 4200 block of 22nd Avenue. A lot of incidents such as this one are related to drug trafficking.
Some of it can definitely be tied back to illicit drug trafficking within the city. I'm not going to go so far as to say all of it, but definitely a certain percentage of it is tied back to that. So another one of our focuses is disrupting those kind of drug trafficking lines and creating as much disruption in there as we can to prevent them from being able to do what they are trying to do in our communities.
The noticeable number in crimes happening in the new year has caused many departments to be on alert.
We've been keeping the detachment busy. Our frontline members have been working very diligently to try and maintain, service delivery to people calling 911, as well as our support units have been working. Our general investigative unit is working really hard on the homicides we've had. Our street crew and downtown safety unit and our problem-oriented policing teams are working hard to try and get to the forefront of who is, kind of creating these waves of violent crime. So it's definitely been busy on all aspects of the kind of detachment life.
Mounties have made an arrest in regards to the first homicide of the year, and that was down in Moccasin Flats. But as for the suspect and the other homicide here on Victoria Street, they're still missing. Caitlin Pomersnick, CKPG News.
And one man was arrested this morning after a shots fired incident. Prince George RCMP say the incident occurred just before 9 a.m. at 8th Avenue and Vancouver Street. Multiple cruisers were on scene, with one witness telling CKPG News that their guns were drawn. RCMP says no one was injured and no information has been released at this time. In other local news, February 24th marked the 2-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the war is still going on. And to raise awareness and show support, hundreds of community members here in town organized a rally. Tommy Osborne spoke with Ukrainians at the rally on how much the war has changed their lives.
It's terrible because my children miss their father and my daughter wants to come back to Ukraine, and I'm scared.
That's just one of thousands of stories from Ukrainians whose entire lives were uprooted overnight 2 years ago. Having to flee at a moment's notice once the Russian invasion of Ukraine began on February 24th, thousands of Ukrainians were forced to begin a new life immediately.
I just remember that February 25, my husband called to me and said, you must immediately go to West Ukraine because it's more safe. I'm from Central Ukraine. And because Russian attack very aggressive, and he said to me, it's not safe, you must go away. We just wake up, and all our simple life just gone. Because I was a lawyer, I have a job, I have my simple life, I got 2 children.
We were just woken up by sound of military jet because we had an open window in our house. So we were scared. Just didn't know what to do, gathered our papers, and we had to change everything We had like one habit of life, and we had to build new habits of life.
Hundreds of community members came out here today, all with the same message: support Ukraine, stop the war. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have suffered from the war that started 2 years ago and still goes on today, and thousands have had to flee Ukraine. For those that have had to flee, dropping everything in a moment's notice and fleeing to another country is without a doubt incredibly challenging, but showing community support like this can help make the move a little bit easier.
I found so many kind people, and all time people try to help you, try to, okay, it's not a problem, we try to figure out a different culture and a lot of things I don't know, but people try to help you.
Canada is very, very, very friendly, very hospitable, very good people, specifically in Prince George.
Many Ukrainians, both in Ukraine and those that had to flee, continue to suffer from a war that has seen at least 10,000 Ukrainian civilians killed, with the UN noting the actual number is likely significantly higher. However, showing support where you can could make this life-altering situation a bit easier for those whose lives were turned upside down. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
The 7th annual Coldest Night of the Year walk took place this past weekend, which raises awareness and funds for AWAC to help battle the drug and overdose crisis. Once again, Tommy Osborne, he was busy this past weekend. He was also at the walk to share stories about the impact it has on those struggling with addiction.
Drug addiction and overdose continues to be an all too common issue that has taken many lives and impacted countless families. The Coldest Night of the Year walk helps battle that, as it raises funds for AWAC to support those struggling with addiction. Part of the funds raised goes to AWAC's Olive Branch program, and a former addict in the program says it turned her entire life around.
I just wanted to die, right? I was so broken, and then when I got to Olive Branch, I was actually going to go to Kamloops, but luckily my brother told me that there was openings at Olive Branch, and then so I applied for it, and then I got in. And then being there is just amazing because I am no longer all those things anymore.
Knowing firsthand just how difficult it is to get out of a drug addiction, Shannon wanted to let anyone else struggling know that it is possible, and programs like AWAC's Olive Branch can play a huge role in getting you back on your feet.
It is literally life-saving. Same with the fellowships that we go to, the 12 steps that we do, any program that we do at Olive Branch. It's I stay there. I've been there for 5 months, so it's literally life-changing because it changed my life and my way of thinking, because I don't want to die anymore. I want to live, and I want to see my kids live as well. I have 7 kids of my own.
The organizer of the Coldest Night of the Year also has a personal connection to addiction, as her son tragically passed away due to fentanyl poisoning in 2022. Having seen firsthand the struggles of those dealing with addiction and the impact it has on families, she wanted to bring an event that would raise awareness in a way that could get the community involved.
It's been a bit more than a year since Luke died, so I brought this here before he died and thought, okay, he's going to be okay, but he wasn't. He was another one that died, and I thought, yeah, but it's important to me to have that forward-moving energy to be helping others.
Helping solve the drug crisis can be as simple as a small donation or even just showing up to events like this, as raising awareness and removing the stigma around addiction can go a long way towards getting help to those who need it. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Moving now to some good news for communities along Highway 16, as BC Hydro plans to expand its existing transmission infrastructure from Prince George out to Terrace because of the increasing demand for electricity. The work crews have already completed some upgrades and plan to consult further before proceeding with the project. Dave Branco has more now on the expected upcoming upgrades.
To make the most effective use of the 500 kilowatt infrastructure from Prince George to Terrace, BC Hydro is looking at making thermal upgrades along the lines to carry the same amount of electricity by increasing the distance between the lines and the ground.
The Prince George to Glenann transmission project. So essentially that's going to be installing a new 500 kV transmission line there, also to help further increase our capacity out there and meet the demands from industry and customers.
Hydro has reported significant growth in various sectors such as ports, mining, clean fuels, and liquefied natural gas. The shift towards using clean electricity in place of fossil fuels has generated interest. However, the potential demand for electricity surpasses the existing transmission lines and infrastructure capacity.
Right now we have the Prince George to Terrace capacitors project, and that's currently under construction. And so that's going to essentially be helping us to increase our capacity west of Prince George by replacing essential electrical infrastructure.
The north coast of BC is supplied by 450 kilometers of 500 kilovolt transmission lines from Williston Substation near Prince George to Skeena Substation near Terrace.
And we're currently engaging and meeting with stakeholders and our customers and First Nations along the proposed route. And we have a series of public information sessions coming up.
BC Hydro is working to identify and assess route options along its right-of-way or parallel to it. More information can be found on the BC Hydro websites regarding its projects. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
Council convenes tonight. That is Cheryl Jansbeach. She joins us now to break down what to expect. So, Cheryl, I want to start here. Bill 35 is on tonight's agenda. Do you mind explaining sort of what that is and what's going to be discussed?
Okay, Bill 35 is called the Short-Term Accommodations Act, and it really targets like Airbnbs, and it's very, very Vancouver-centric.
Okay.
And so there is a motion that a couple of councillors, Trudy Clausen and Brian Skaken, put forward, because there's a lot of concerns that this bill, which kind of restricts short-term accommodations, Airbnbs, will really, A, hurt the tourism industry, and B, we have a very interesting selection of individuals that come here on short-term to work on major projects. And that's what they're concerned about, is that if they restrict the amount of Airbnbs that we can have, short-term accommodations, that we can have in our community, it really will impact the ability for some of these projects to house people.
Right. So what is this? There's going to be a notice of motion, correct?
Yep.
So
Yep.
What is this notice of motion really looking for?
Okay, I'm going to quote directly from the website.
Okay.
Okay, it's a vital part of the options needed to provide housing to those providing their expertise to various projects and programs in the city. We must do our part to provide the required housing options remain available to reduce the barriers to working in our city. So it's kind of a concern that it's really going to impact our economy.
Interesting. And just very quickly here, Cheryl, is there anything else on the agenda of note?
There's something kind of, unique. So the city is looking at a notice of motion to go to the North Central Local Government Association about, so we have a number of schools that have adopted daycares, but they don't pay the taxes. And so, that's kind of an interesting tack,
Right.
that the municipality is saying to them, well, we're not making the taxes.
Okay, interesting stuff. All right, Cheryl Jen, and we will have more on this to follow up some of these stories tomorrow and throughout the week. Cheryl, as always, thanks for your insight. And a proposed bypass project for Highway 97 in Quesnel has hit a roadblock, and local officials in the city are hoping to get things moving. Quesnel City Council will be giving a presentation to the province on why the project needs to move forward. Adam Burrows reports.
Highway 97 in Quesnel goes right through its downtown, crossing 11 major intersections, causing congestion and multiple collisions. There is a proposed project called the North-South Interconnector that would act as a bypass and alleviate these concerns, and this project is of high importance to Mayor and Council.
The Highway 97 realignment project through Quesnel is the most important file that I have on my plate at the moment. The Ministry of Transportation and Highways has come up with a plan where the highway would be realigned right through the top side of the city center. It would eliminate 7 traffic lights.
The issue of an interconnector for Quesnel is not a recent one and has dominated civic politics for many, many years.
Alec Fraser was the previous mayor and then the Minister of Highways, and that was at the top of his file in the early 1970s. And it actually predated that. They've been talking about a bypass, an interconnector, a highway realignment for many, many years.
The bad news about this project is that it has hit a roadblock. A preliminary design was completed in 2020, but very little has happened since, with the province saying that the project is not currently funded to advance beyond this phase, but that the Ministry of Transportation will continue to monitor the performance of Highway 97. A Quesnel delegation will be making their case for the project to move forward to the government in May-June of this year, and MLA for Caribou North, Corley Oakes, wants the government to step up.
We're just waiting for Premier Eby to demonstrate that he cares about what is happening in the north and to make that critical investment. It is about the movement of goods and services throughout the entire province, and particularly we are that bottleneck from the south of BC into the north. So that investment is critical.
The project would also allow the dangerous goods route to be moved because it currently has to go right through downtown.
The highway realignment will take the dangerous goods route out of the downtown. Right now, we've got dangerous goods that are passing within 50 feet of the front door of our hospital.
The government says that the project will proceed as priorities and funding allow, but no funding was allocated in the 2024 provincial budget, once again putting the project on the back burner. Adam Burles, CKPG News.
A little bit of lighter news now. The Gene Clark Local History Awards took place on Sunday, and a crowd of over 100 people attended, and they were present to celebrate the finalists and winners of this year's awards. The awards were established back in '85 in memory of the former library board chair, Gene Clark. The Service Award was bestowed to Clarence Boudreau, and the Publication Award went to Catherine Palmer Gordon for her book, This Place is Who We Are, Stories of Indigenous Leadership, Resilience, and Connection to Their Homelands. The purpose of the awards is to increase interest in local history and to recognize individuals and groups for their efforts in preserving local history. As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.42.9 per liter at Costco. That also happens to be the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.24.5 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.74.2 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
Well, it was quite the run for the UNBC Timberwolves men's basketball team, with 3 upsets in 4 games as they made history over the weekend, earning the program's first ever Canada West medal, taking home the bronze after taking down the Calgary Dinos. Anthony Correa breaks down the magical tournament for the T-Wolves.
It started with a big win over the UBC Thunderbirds, a great way to make your presence felt in the playoffs. Then came a comeback win against the hosts, with UNBC beating Manitoba by a score of 84-78, sticking with them all game before pulling ahead. A semifinals berth for the number 12 seed, a Cinderella run in the Canada West playoffs. Unfortunately for the UNBC men's basketball team, it would be the number 1 ranked team in the country that would be the evil stepmother and show the Timberwolves out, as Victoria, who went on to win the tournament, had a great second half in an 80-68 victory. But the T-Wolves wouldn't hang their heads and mope around, as they still had a big game against the Calgary Dinos for 3rd place and a bronze medal. 4 different players scoring in double figures for UNBC, led by Chris Ross, who paced the team with 25 points and a career-best 7 3-pointers in his final U Sports game. And one of the smallest universities in Canada making a big impact in Canada West, claiming their first ever Canada West medal with a 94-80 victory and cementing themselves in Timberwolves history.
Yeah, the first quarter I was definitely coming out trying to play hard. I've been in this spot before with my high school team where we ended up in the bronze medal game, and I know sometimes it's hard to get up for that game, but I know it's way better to end on a win. So I tried to do that today too, come out, play really hard, and I was really trying to get on the guys to play hard, and we'll feel a lot better if we come out of this with a win.
The amount of people we got watching the games, tuning in, commenting on all the social media stuff, it really shows how many people care about us.
It's unreal, really. We came in preseason poll at 15, and to finish 3rd with this special group of guys is just unreal.
You look at a lot of the top teams in Canada West, and they don't move the ball very well. They're not used to seeing 5 guys across the scoreboard get double figures, and so we shocked a lot of people with that. On the other end, it was just, secure some rebounds, don't give them a lot of extra possessions. I'm looking forward to the little medal ceremony where I get to finally put some hardware across the neck. It's going to feel real nice.
The TSX is down 89 points to close at 21,324. The Dow Jones is down 62 points to close at 39,069. And Artemis Gold went down 1 cent to close at $7.12.
Good evening again. We're looking at a cold weather system continuing for the next few days. So the Arctic air is really the big story of our weather for another few as we see it settle in and bring those temperatures down significantly, especially through the evening and overnight period. And I'll show you more in a second on that. But looking back at the day today, not too bad out there. Definitely some instability, but we have some nice clearing that's coming our way before this next big system out here. So the futurecast, we are going to see partly cloudy skies clearing overnight tonight. And then into the morning, starting things off nice and sunny. You can see the increase in clouds before this system hits us later into tomorrow evening. So we're looking at snow beginning. Again, we could have some flurries before that through the afternoon, a good chance of light snow or flurries, but certainly the bulk of the system will be over us through the evening hours tomorrow. And that carries into Wednesday. Then we quickly clear out again. Going into the later part of the week, we've got some really nice sunshine to talk about, but the cold weather is here. Definitely those overnight lows tonight, very cold with a risk of frostbite in our forecast, so keep that in mind. We could see temperatures with the northwest winds going down to about -35. Well, this is our daytime high tomorrow, but the morning will be very cold, -14, and again, an increase in cloud as the day goes on, flurries beginning, light snow, and then more snow through the evening. -17 up in the Peace, a clear trend there, though it's a bit better down through the southern interior and getting mainly cloudy skies, but lots of precipitation down through the south coast as well. Our broadcast region definitely looks cold, -14 Burns Lake, Vanderhoof as well, -9 in Quesnel. So very cold and quite wintry right now with a little bit more of that precipitation anticipated. Across the country, west coast could be wet and cold. They're expecting a little bit of snow in the forecast for Vancouver, highs of only 4 there tomorrow. -15 for Edmonton, a very cold trend, but nice and clear. It is cold through the prairies as well. Better day today, but tomorrow that Arctic air settling in there. 13 degrees in Montreal and close to it in Toronto. So a drastic change as we go further east into the country. So chance of snow for us. And again, we talked about the fact that it will be through the afternoon tomorrow, but particularly beginning through the evening and carrying in with a little bit more of those colder temperatures. But Wednesday, we start to see an improvement. It's not going to be quite as cold. Burns Lake -5 by Wednesday and even better than that for Thursday. But tonight, very cold, down to almost -30, up to only -14 tomorrow. Very cold and looking at snow throughout the day, 2 to 4 centimeters through the afternoon. Cold in Mackenzie as well, -30 tonight. We're looking at really cold temperatures for the next day or so, and then really not too bad on Wednesday. That will feel like an improvement, but then it gets cold yet again later into the week as well. We start to see a drier trend, but still continuing or seeing those colder temperatures returning. -23, very cold tonight, clearing though, starting the day off through with some sunshine tomorrow, then an increase in cloud with some afternoon snow and a high of -8. Not quite as cold, but definitely snowy on Wednesday. Quesnel will see a very similar trend as well going forward. Very cold tonight and tomorrow. Then Wednesday doesn't look as bad. And really for us, it's down to -27 as our posted temperature, but the feels like temperature will take it down to -35. So risk of frostbite tonight and tomorrow morning. Through the afternoon, we'll see an increase in clouds and some snow beginning through the evening hours, but still some flurries anticipated through the afternoon. And then a bit of a different temperature, a better temperature, if you will, on Wednesday, but still quite snowy.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The T-Wolves weren't the only local team to impress over the weekend as the Prince George Cougars continue their magical season. Their latest accomplishment is something the team hasn't done since 2017. Anthony Correa explains while breaking down this past weekend.
From the first game of the season,
spin to the front, they score! Hat trick for Zach Funk, here come the Hats! 8-0 Cougars lead!
To this past weekend.
It's loose in front, they score!
It bounces around and Boreavalis gets to it.
The Prince George Cougars have been dominant all year. Now, the team has clinched their first BC Division title since 2017 and has a new single-season goal leader after 2 big weekend wins over Kamloops and Kelowna. It started against the Blazers as Prince George flexed their skill early. 3 first-period goals and a 32-save performance from Ty Young sees the Cougars come away with a 5-1 victory and 1 win away from securing the division. And the next night, Kelowna made them fight tooth and nail for it. 10 goals apiece, 6 of them in the second period. Zach Funk scoring yet another hat-trick and breaking a Cougars franchise record for most goals in a single season with 56. His 8th hat-trick on the year, Andre Becker scoring the only goal in the shootout as the Cougars beat Kelowna 6-5. We take a look at the Western Conference standings now, which sees an X and a Y beside the Cougars' name. With the division win, it clinches at least the 2nd seed for Prince George, but with 10 games to go, the Cats are looking to be Western Conference champions and that number 1 seed in the playoffs. A wonderful time to be a Cougars fan and a team that has rewritten history all year.
And the good news for the Cats keeps rolling in as Riley Heidt has been named WHL Player of the Week. Heidt had a great stretch, recording 11 points over 4 games. That's right, 3 points on Monday, 2 points on Tuesday, 2 points on Friday, and 4 points on Saturday to help Prince George clinch that BC division. The Minnesota Wild product also reached the 100-point plateau this week, becoming the first player in the entire CHL to accomplish the feat during this campaign. Heidt is currently riding a 7-game point streak, and he'll look to keep it all going when the Spokane Chiefs visit the Cougars this weekend. It was a big weekend in pro sports as well, and as Anthony Correa shows you, we have results, throwbacks, and a cinematic hockey moment from the weekend, all in tonight's CKP3.
Starting with the greatest sports quote of all time.
Strike to claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it!
Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am!
12 years ago today, Pete Weber's infamous quote was born at the 69th U.S. Open Stepladder Finals. Next, heartbreak for Jennifer Jones.
And Zacharias on the line call. Has to be the shot Stone to keep her chances alive at a record 7th championship. Has to be the shot Stone. Burgess, led in time. The crowd responding, have to get it by. Oh, it rubs and rolls. Will it curl in enough? No, it will not.
She can't draw to the button as Rachel Homan wins the Scotties Tournaments of Hearts. Still a historic career for Jones, who's retiring. Finally, NHL cinema.
Look at this. From center ice, it's Patrick Kane in Chicago.
Oh my God!
With the overtime winner, the Red Wings win it 3-2. The story is complete on Kane's return to Chicago.
Patrick Kane's return to Chicago didn't disappoint. An OT winner in front of a sold-out crowd, and a salute to Chicago faithful as Showtime takes top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Well, from the CKPG Today side, got a great one coming up over here, including introducing you to the winning couple of our CKPG Today and Imogen White Wedding Gallery, the Wedding Proposal Contest. Find that out on our show today. Big surprise. It's a great story. I mean, they were all great stories submitted online, though, and thanks to everyone for submitting those. Of course, we're going to talk about Pink Shirt Day coming up as well on the show. It's coming up this Wednesday, February 28th, so you can get your shirts. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Northern BC are selling them to support their programming there as well. Over to you on the other side. Have you got your pink shirt yet?
No pink shirt yet, but I do have my trusty pink shirt pin. So I'm getting ready for the day, Mr. Fanshawe, but I will have to pick up one of those shirts as well. But to finish up our show today, scientists have revealed footage of a gargantuan new snake species that they're calling the world's biggest. Have a look.
Not a fan of snakes?
boy, do I have some bad news for you. Scientists say they've discovered a new slithery species in the Amazon rainforest that may take the snake cake as the biggest in the world. A team from the University of Queensland found several of the gargantuan snakes while filming an upcoming TV series in the Ecuadorian Amazon. The team's leader said they encountered a female northern green anaconda that was more than 20 feet long. And scientists say they've heard stories of even larger snake sightings in the region, some up to 25 feet and weighing more than 1,100 pounds. Typically found in or near water in warm parts of South America, anacondas are non-venomous snakes, but somehow that still doesn't make me feel better about any of this.
No, thank you. All right, folks, that's all for now. Thanks for joining us as always. Your last look tonight is a look from the Hart Highlands Ski Hill. Folks, have yourselves a great night, and we will see you tomorrow.